Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we will be talking about 7 steps on how to be able to study more efficiently. So you may be preparing for some sort of exam or a quiz or perhaps a college entrance test or high school entrance test, school entrance test, whatever that may be. But nevertheless, you came to the right place. Just a little bit of forward though. These steps that I have compiled here, you do not really need to do all of them at once. You can just pick some or you can add some. It depends on what you want because each person has different types of learning strategies. I have just compiled and arranged into a chronological order some of the most popular and most effective ways to study more effectively. Without further ado, let us start. The first step is, of course, to know the topic. I mean, how are you supposed to study if you do not even know what you will be studying? So, of course, make sure that you have listened very carefully to the lessons of your teacher, or make sure that you have enough background knowledge of the topic for you to be able to have enough expertise in the certain topic that you are studying. The second step is to associate. Now, this learning strategy is effective when you're finding it difficult to remember a certain topic. Like, let's give an example. Let's say Newton's laws of motion. The first law of motion states that an object at rest or an object in constant motion will stay in that state unless it is acted upon by an external force. Now, if you cannot remember the first law of motion, the technique is to associate it with some object. For example, let's say someone is sleeping and then someone threw some water on that person. Of course, the person who was once sleeping will eventually wake up and be startled. That's an example or probably a silly example of Newton's first law of motion, because the person that was once at rest was acted upon by an external force, which is perhaps the water, and of course they woke up. You can associate that scenario to the first law of motion so that you will be able to remember it. The second law of motion states that the force of an object is equal to its mass times acceleration. If you cannot remember the formula of F equals mass times acceleration, you can just say, instead of saying may the force be with you, you can say may the mass times acceleration be with you. As simple as that. It's kind of a silly association, but these steps will help you remember those topics. Now, for the last law of motion states that every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Let's say, for example, you went to your crush and you confessed your feelings. Now what happens? It's either you will have an equal reaction, your crush likes you back, or an opposite reaction, your crush doesn't like you back. As simple as that. It's kind of funny, but it will help you remember the topic very well. Aside from association, the third step is mnemonic devices. This will help you in terms of memorizing stuff. This has always been a well-proved technique. It's commonly used in a lot of subjects that require so much memorization. An example of this is the stages of cell division, specifically the M phase. What is the M phase? We have this acronym or mnemonics called PMAT. What does PMAT stand for? It stands for prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. With that mnemonic device, you will be able to remember the steps of cell division more easily. Just say PMAT. And of course, after studying, the fourth step is of course rest. Never forget to rest. It is very important because if you just continue to study about, let's say, 2 hours straight with no rest, your brain's going to get tired. And when your brain is very tired, you won't be able to process enough information. And if it won't be able to process information, it will lead to system failure. So never forget to rest. Aside from resting, you can also eat some of your favorite snacks, most especially chocolate. Yes, chocolate is very effective when it comes to cognitive skills and cognitive memory stuff. According to a study from Loma Linda University of Health in California, the researchers experimented on some subjects, and what they basically did is they gave them chocolate, which is made from 70% cocoa. And after they gave them this chocolate, they started to diagnose the subjects 30 minutes after they ate the chocolate bar. And after 30 minutes, the researchers have found that they had increased gamma radio frequency in the brain, in the largest part of the brain. This basically means that their brain is working very well and it's functioning very well. Like their cognitive skills are increasing because of the chocolate. Then the reason for this is because chocolate contains some ingredients or some nutrients that can be responsible for allowing the brain to function more effectively. So you can also add that to your list. Aside from resting and eating some stuff, you can also eat, of course, chocolate. But make sure that you eat chocolate in just minimal amounts because, of course, too much is always bad for the health. The fifth step is, of course, after you were able to study, after you were able to rest, you can try to test yourself. Yes, assess yourself. Because once you test yourself, like for example, you answer some pages of the book or you answer some questions related to the topic that you have studied, if you test yourself, you will be able to remember these topics more effectively. According to a study, I will be linking down the sources below, testing is more of a learning tool than an assessment. Yeah, I mean, even I myself am asking, why are the teachers giving us those midterm examinations and stuff? They're trying to assess us, of course, but do remember that there are a couple of times that the teachers are giving us quizzes before the exams itself. Why? The purpose of this is for us to be able to remember those topics well, and once we took those quizzes prior to the exam, we'll be able to learn more effectively because once you take those tests, it's like a preview of the exam and you know how the exam will work, right? So testing cannot just occur in school. You can practice that with yourself. You can answer some pages of the book or just look for questions online and just try to test them, of course. The sixth step is interlearning. So this step is quite optional because some people prefer to study alone, some people prefer to study with groups of people, but for me personally and for most of the people that I know, interlearning is very effective, especially for someone who likes teaching. For me personally, I am the one who usually conducts review sessions with my friends, and whenever I conduct those review sessions before the exam, I am not just helping them, but I'm also helping myself. How is that so? Because if you were able to teach those topics to someone else, it just means that you already know the topic very well. So why not have some review sessions with your friends? You can have fun. Aside from having fun, of course, you're also learning. And do remember that when you're having these review sessions, oftentimes when you're with friends, you will always have these fun conversations. For example, you and your friends are talking about a certain topic when somebody makes a joke. Of course, when someone triggers an emotion such as laughter, usually people can easily remember that subject or that topic. Just note that certain emotions can trigger memory in the brain. Yes. So such conversations with your friends can help you actually learn much better. Then yes, of course, as always, it depends on the scenario. Just make sure that when you're studying with other groups of people, your friends, your classmates, make sure that the sole purpose of that conversation is just studying, and in some personal or other forms of conversations, You can probably set them aside because they're not that important. Make sure you focus on your studies. And last but not the least, the seventh step is of course reward yourself. You've done well. Even if you haven't taken the exam yet, even if you're just finished studying, reward yourself because you were able to study. Some people out there, they do not even like studying, or some people out there, they don't care. But give yourself some reward and appreciate your effort. For example, you can eat your favorite treat after reviewing, or you can just try to reward yourself with something because you did well, you did good, and you had a really nice job. So that marks the end of this video, and I wish you everyone a good luck if ever you will be taking some exams of this sort. And I hope this video was able to help you guys out. Bye!